Hey guys, Chelsea here. Now, in this video, it's going to be a bit of a follow-up to two of my videos, actually. One of which was my 5 worst maps video, and the other one was a video on this map. It was a joke video. But yeah, I'm talking about swamps again. Fuck's sake. I'm not going to be showing any gameplay because, let's face it, no one wants to subject themselves to minutes on swamps ever, because there's a reason why this is probably the most quitted map of all time, because no one likes it. It's such a bad map, and yeah, I'm just going to explain why people don't like this map, why it's bad, and really just a bit of design, really, about the maps. Now, if you look at these 6 Normandy maps, I'm just going to put it on screen, really their design, but they really go down into three design, really. The Normandy Conquest maps go into 3 different design principles. The first is straight lane maps. These are maps like Reviers and Ruins of Valks. Basically, there's 3 points, they're in a straight line from each other, and they're basically, it's a line, basically. So, from spawn, because there's only one spawn point, you have a choice really between going to A, B, or C, doesn't matter which. Yeah, the second one is the one actually Swamp falls under, which is basically more like a triangle, like an equilateral triangle, where the maps, the the B point is quite close to the spawn, but you've also got an A and a C point, which one's closer to one spawn, one's closer to the other. So for Versamer, it's the A spawn is this tower, with the C spawn being I can't remember what there's like that Radio Shack thing. For Courville Farm, the A point is the windmill, the C point is the trench line, and the B point is, of course, the first point on Reviers and Reviers Invasion. And then, of course, you get Chateau, which has basically a straight line between A and C, but then you have B point being on the other side of the map completely in a different postcode, which, of course, is shared with another fan favourite map, which I can find somewhere, which is Fortified District. Yeah, another fan favourite map with that one. But we're not here to talk about those two. We're talking about swamps. Now, why is swamps so hated? Well, the problem is it just doesn't fit with Normandy's playstyle. It's the only outlier because all of these maps have, for some parts, really good close-range engagements. Reviers and Ruins of Valks are critically just almost entirely all close range. The B points around Versamer, Courville Farm, and Chateau are all close range. Now, Versamer, Courville Farm, and Chateau all do have long range engagements, especially around A and C. However, they have the B point, which basically means that you can, if you want to, go in close range, you go to B. If you want to do longer ranges, you go to the other points. And even then, Versamer and Courville Farm are small enough maps so that really it doesn't matter. You can just quickly zip around the map in any way you want. And Chateau, is kind of a bit awkward, but it's still just a bad map in general. Swamps doesn't actually have this. It's large, for a start. It's probably about as big as Chateau. And, what makes Versamer and Courville Farm work is their points are quite close together, about 60 metres of each other. With swamps, they're about 90, which is about half the more distance. So, and this really kind of leads to slow gameplay because you just don't, there's not really much. Also, there's no good close range engagements really. The house isn't that good for close range. The C point, which is in the bunker, if you're in the bunker, it's fine, but outside the bunker, it's just a bunch of, long-range engagements again. And let's just talk about B point. B point is the worst point. It's one of the worst points in the game. Again, that's another thing. The points are just bland and boring. Compare it to, say, the church on Reviers or Ruins of Val. Compare it to the Chateau on Chateau. Compare it to the B points of Courville and Versamer. Compare it to the coastal town on Versamer. And you can see where Swamps fails. It's just a farmhouse, which it's a farmhouse. A bunker, which, yeah, again, it's just a bunker. Nothing really special about it. And then you have B point, which is just this big open plain, like this, with an artillery piece in the middle. And then we have the other bad thing, the lack of cover throughout the map. Now, I know Versailles and Chateau and parts of Courville do have this problem as well, but those are small parts of the map, and even then, Chateau has the occasional trench line. Versailles and Courville both have the city blocks, and also there's a lot of bomb craters around Courville, and of course there's also the trench line. And Versailles as well has occasional trench lines and a lot, and really the city makes up most of the map, so yeah. But the problem is Swamp doesn't have any of that. It has the occasional tank in the swamp, and that's another thing. You basically, the whole centre of the map is useless. Like, there's no good place. There's only one good place for a rally point, which is slap bang in the centre, but everyone knows where it's going to be. Compared to Versailles, for example, which has a lot of good rally points. Le Brie, a lot of good rally points. Ruins, a lot of good rally points. Chateau, there's quite a few good rally points. Courville, there's occasionally a few good rally points. But Swamps doesn't have any of this. Like, you literally just... You're going to run in... Like, there's only really... The only places you can build are in the tiny houses on the Swamps. But everyone knows that you're going to build in there. So they send a tank in there to blow you up. Or they send in, like, some assault squad to cut you down. And that's another... Also, as well, it's... Like I said, it's really excavated because it's so open. Literally, and that's the thing as well. It's so boring. You're just running around, and it's like running between points. Now I know that's most of the game, but you don't really come across enemies as often as you do on, say, Le Brie or Wounds of Val. You don't come into or Versailles. The only way I could see this working was if it was like, because there are other really good open maps, like, for example, Avantgarde. Avantgarde's a really good open map, but Avantgarde has a lot of buildings just to to counteract this. Bellow Lake as well has a lot of open, is really well open, but there's a lot of buildings. Swamps doesn't even have this. Like, it doesn't have buildings, which, again, there's only, like I said, there's only a couple of buildings, but these are these are just, like, small one-room buildings compared to, like, whole villages or just massive farmhouses and stuff like that, which, again, are a lot more fun to play on than this. The only enjoyment I have is when I'm playing in a tank and just drifting around in the tank. Like, that's the only fun I have on Swamps, is playing in a tank. And literally, one of my old buddies, a guy called Neon, all he would do if we ran into Swamps was he would pick his Jumbo, and then just sit on a rock for the whole game. Because he was so bored with the map. And it even got to the point where we literally said we will play any map other than Swamps, and we all just backed out. This is when it was changed, where the random thing, and it wasn't set. Because when it was set, we just literally sat on a rock for 10 minutes. Literally just went to sleep. Because there's no enjoyment in Swamps. It's generally just not an enjoyable map, and compared to, say, Le Brie, which is fast paced, even maps like Chateau, you can have some really good moments on Chateau. I generally have never had a good moment on Swamps. Like, never been that great, great game. Like, with Chateau, you can have tons of great games every now and again. Courville Farm, even though you don't really see it too often, you can have some pretty fun games on it. Le Brie as well, Ruins of Val, even Versailles as well. You can have some really great games. But Swamps is just awful. Anyway, to get out to end this video here, leave your thoughts on Swamps in the description. Do you guys agree it's the worst map? Do you say it's a good map? Can you, do you have anything, do you hate it as much as I do, or do you like it? Leave your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.